Happy holidays. Want to give your host a gift? Consider subscribing, rating, and reviewing the show this holiday season. It really helps the show grow. From all of us at Believe, have a Merry Christmas, everyone, and a happy holiday.
Trojan family, what's up? Welcome back to the USC LAFB show here on the LAFB network. I'm your host, Ryan Dybert. Thank you, as always, for making this a part of your day. As promised earlier, recruiting update for you. Got 7 player updates for you here on the 2027 class. So we're just going to pop right into it, get this thing rolling. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope the day's treating you well. Hope the weekend is going to be great for you. And maybe we'll get a commitment. I don't know. Maybe. Just putting that out there. We'll see. A couple updates here. So let's start with 4-star linebacker Toa Satelli. I talked about him. All these days blend together. Was it just yesterday? 2 days ago, maybe, when I did some 2027 linebacker targets. This is probably my favorite overall target for USC. Caden Henderson, obviously, is a higher rated player. From Florida. Has visited USC. There is draw there. There is certainly connection there, and he would be a huge get if you can get both these guys 2 home run in this class. But I think Toa Satelli is more likely. If it's one or the other, I think he is probably more likely just with his ties, from Hawaii, the Polynesian background and culture to USC. But it's going to be a tough battle. So USC is sitting really well, but they are competing with Oregon, and then now with the hire of Oregon's defensive coordinator, Tosh Lupoy, to Cal. Cal is firmly in the mix. I mean, he was instrumental in the recruiting of Satelli to Oregon, and now that he's at Cal, they are a real player. So it's looking like a real 3-horse race there for Satelli. He mentions, and this is talking to Rivals, I'll quote them, in regards to the staff, Coach Rob Ryan is a great coach. And he reached out to me and said he'd take care of me and how much they'd improve me as a player, but also as a person. USC is Polynesian built with Troy Polamalu and all those Polynesian greats like Junior Seau. Going into that and taking a look into what they have in store and the culture they bring would take me to the next level. So certainly USC in a good spot. This is like one of my number one kind of gets for the entire class. We've been talking a lot about linebacker. I just talked about some portal linebackers earlier today, as of right now, December 12th, that are kind of my top targets. So it's a position that we'll look at continuously throughout the offseason. But if Satelli can land in this class, that'd be a great headline. And you figure they just got Talanoa Ely, SoCal kid, but played this year in Hawaii from Kahuku. Thank you, our good friend. I believe your name is Alan. Thank you. You corrected me. My pronunciation had been wrong on that. So if they get another kid from the islands, we'll take that all day. He's the 4th-ranked linebacker in the class right now, 6'3", 200 pounds. Will certainly put on a bit more weight going into his senior year before getting to college campus. 4-star safety Gavin Williams. This is one that's been heavily linked to USC. I've talked about him a bunch. We've talked about likely USC will take 4 defensive backs. Likely. Maybe they'll take 5. Maybe they'll take 3, but likely 4 is kind of that sweet spot. You can say 2 CBs, corners, 2 safeties. I always say DBs because they're kind of interchangeable going from high school to college. Gavin Williams, to me, is one of the big ones in that mix, and I'm going to talk about 2. Well, I'll just lump them all together. So quick, because I've talked about it a bunch. So quick update with Gavin Williams, Aaron Washington, and Danny Lang. All 3 of those, I think, are very likely. And then you add in Honor Falave Johnson from San Diego, the number 1 safety in the class, looking very likely. And then obviously Duve Williams, maybe the most likely, would be a stunner if he ends up not committing to USC, in my opinion. So those are 5. Like, I think they're all so talented, so good. You would, if your number was 4, and that's kind of the roster management you had, I think you could stretch that to 5 if all 5 are willing to come. So we'll see how it goes, though. I saw, and this is just to give you guys kind of a behind the curtain, I saw an interview. I can't remember what show it was on. I just saw it. recently. But Fred Warner, great linebacker, obviously probably the best linebacker in the NFL right now, plays for San Francisco. Ended up going to, I believe, BYU is where he went to college. And he was retelling the story of that he was going to go to USC, and USC had told him that they had 3 spots remaining, going into signing day. And I can't remember off the top of my head the 3 that they had allocated those to. But they basically told Warner, hey, we have 3 spots. If any of these 3 don't sign, a spot's yours. We want you here, but we only have 3 spots. So if any of these 3 don't sign, it's yours. All 3 end up signing with USC. And so then Fred Warner ends up going to BYU. So that just kind of shows you that there is some nuance to this, and there are actual roster allocation where sometimes the team has to say, hey, we don't got room. And so that's where these recruits, and with this new philosophy of like no visits, it kind of puts the onus on them a little bit if they're like, hey, we got 4 defensive back spots. So we're talking to 10 of you, 5 of you we really like, but we got 4 spots. So the quicker you commit and close this thing down, you're locked in and good to go. So I don't know if they would do that with these 5 because I really like all of them. But anyway, so Gavin Williams released his top 10. USC, I think, is the front runner for sure. But Alabama, Michigan, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas A&M, Tennessee, Washington, and USC. So all the big players. Shows you the kind of talent this kid has, the draw that he has, and the ability he has while playing at Damien High School in Laverne. 6'1", 170. He is the 14th ranked safety. So if you can land Gavin Williams and Honor Falave Johnson, get the 2 top 15 players in this class at their position, pretty solid. So that's the latest on Gavin Williams. We'll keep you posted on that. With the 2, as I mentioned, no real big updates with Aaron Washington, Danny Lang. Scott Schrader, I think I mentioned last time, my man Scott, did put in expert predictions for both Washington and Lang to commit to USC. Greg Biggins also put in a prediction for Danny Lang to end up at USC. Now, Washington, his top 3, USC, Georgia, and Ohio State, he is expected to announce his commitment January 10th at the one of the bowl games down in San Antonio, one of the after season, I don't know why I'm blanking on the word, postseason all-star games. So he's planning to announce then. Danny Lang likely will not announce till the summer. His birthday is July 2nd. So he mentioned that he might announce on his birthday, July 2nd. So that is a long way away. So it's really interesting that 2 predictions have already come in to commit to USC, and that's 7.5 months away when he might actually announce his commitment. But really strong with USC right now, and expect both those guys to hopefully don the Cardinal and gold. Both of them play at Mater Dei, so it's great to see this USC Mater Dei pipeline getting rebuilt. I mean, 4 players this year. You add those 2, plus some others are going. There could be 2 to 4 next in the 27 class, and that pipeline is fully rebuilt. So good shape there for those 2. Again, that puts you, all 3 of those I just listed, that's 3 defensive backs. Is there 1 spot? Is there 2? And you're looking at Honor Falave Johnson and Duve Williams, both trending for USC as well. Miles Smith, defensive lineman. Love the way he spells his name, by the way. Myels. Very unique. Love my Miles with Y's. Always great. My soon-to-be born daughter we're naming Madeline, and we're spelling that with a Y. So you gotta love the Y spelling. 6'4.5", 300 pounds. Plays at Inglewood. Big body. The ranking discrepancy with Smith is really interesting. He is industry rankings. He is the 37th ranked defensive lineman. Rivals self-ranking has him 2nd. They have him ranked as the 2nd ranked player in the state of California. So a huge discrepancy between the rankings. So all that only matters is what USC and the coaching staff sees in him. But they are clearly recruiting him, and that size, 6'4.5", 300 pounds going into his senior year. You could see him get to USC if he commits there at, 310, 315, 320 as he continues to grow more into that body. But at that height, almost 6'5", can certainly be a big bruising defensive tackle. He just dropped his top 6: Texas A&M, Nebraska, Washington, Arizona State, Cal. Again, some of these ramifications are from Lupoy being hired from Oregon to Cal, and USC. In regards to USC, he told Rivals, they've been recruiting me pretty good. Coach Eric Henderson and Coach Danton Lynn have been texting me and asking me to get up there for game day. We'll see what's up with them. So this is one to watch. Long way to go. But I love that it's a local kid, a big body, playing for a public school in Inglewood. And again, the discrepancy in his ranking, we'll see if we can get to the bottom of that. But clearly, I think a talented kid with great size that you'd love to see. So there's the latest on him.
Drinking and driving is a decision that will change your whole world. Things will never be the same once you get a DUI, because legal fees and time in court are just the beginning. Getting into a crash is another way your world could be irreversibly changed after drinking and driving. Your vehicle may not be the only thing that gets damaged in that crash. You could face a life-altering injury or even death. But you're not the only one who could face those consequences. Your decision to drink and drive could permanently change someone else's world, whether you injure them or leave their loved ones grieving. The next time you're out drinking, call a rideshare, a taxi, a sober friend, or a designated sober driver. Always plan for a safe ride home. The only decision that'll change your world for the better is the decision to call for a sober ride. It's never worth it to drive drunk. Don't risk it. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Moving on down the list, George Toia. Interesting. I mean, what a wild high school career this young man has had. And if you recognize the name, it's because he's the younger brother of Toia, who originally committed to USC and then in the spring ended up transferring to UCLA and played his entire basically collegiate career for UCLA. But a big body. He was dominant in Danton Lynn's defense when Lynn was there for his one season. And a huge part of why UCLA's defense made that jump was because of older brother Jay Toia. So George Toia obviously comes from that bloodline, similar build, 6'2", 300 pounds right now. He's the 7th ranked defensive lineman in this class. And his top, or the schools recruiting him, he says the hardest are USC, Oregon, Texas Tech, and Oklahoma. So it's going to be quite the race there. He says they're all up. They're all in my finals right now. I've been really enjoying it. He says of USC is just a great school for me. It's a hometown school for me, and it was always a dream school for me growing up. So many great Polynesian athletes have come through the school, so it's definitely up there for me. Also, Coach Nua and Coach Henney are both great coaches. So his high school journey, so he's from, the family's from Fontana, right here in Southern California. So he went to Summit High School in Fontana, and then transferred to the infamous Bishop Montgomery. If that name sounds familiar, it's a school in Torrance that prior to this season, so a few months ago beginning, they had so many ineligible transfer players that the program ultimately got shut down, or at least the varsity program for the foreseeable future got shut down. So then all those kids that had transferred there or had just been going there were left without a varsity team to play for in a high impact year for all these kids, even ones not maybe blue chip players. And because of CIF rules, and I haven't gone down the whole rabbit hole of reading all the, legalities, but because it was already deemed a wrongful transfer, they couldn't necessarily just transfer to another California school, or they would make that program potentially ineligible. So a lot of these kids ended up having to move out of state. George Toia being one of those, moved to Texas, ended up playing for Byron Nelson, I believe is the name of the school. And, out there in Trophy Club, Texas. So wild high school journey, but is out there, is getting settled, is still an elite defensive lineman, and is still one that USC will certainly recruit hard for. the odd shift in this now is, yes, he is a SoCal kid. His family's from SoCal. You know, I think it's similar to like a Talanoa Ely or even a Kenai Pepe situation where they're playing high school ball out of state, but, you know, they still have those SoCal roots. But it does change the recruiting a little bit. Now him being in the backyard of these Texas schools, you know, right across the border from Oklahoma. Not that those guys can't travel to California, but the geography does change things a little bit. When all of a sudden you're in the backyard of some of the premier SEC schools, they're going to make coaches' visits a lot more frequent than they would if they were out here in California. So puts USC at a little bit more of a disadvantage there, but the roots are still there. The Polynesian background is still there. And obviously Coach Henney and Coach Nua on the recruiting trail for him. So we'll keep you posted on that one, how that continues to progress. And finally, last but not least, 4-star wide receiver Quentin Hale. This was probably the number one receiver prospect for USC so far in this class. It's kind of been USC, Alabama, you know, some of the other programs obviously pushing hard, but it's been kind of a 2-horse race for that. But now with Lane Kiffin over at LSU, I think LSU is certainly going to ramp things up. The Texas schools, Oklahoma, I mean, super talented kids, 6'3", 175, the 6th ranked wide receiver in the class. Chad Savage has been the lead recruiter on this, at least according to Rivals. So probably going to be a while till he commits. Seems like his list might even be growing and is going to definitely take some visits. I'm sure he will visit LSU out there, kind of getting more involved. And so, as we know with USC, no visits. So he'll do a lot of that before announcing his commitment, which could probably not be until that late spring, early summer window, kind of the June official visit window when all those take place. So we'll keep you posted on Quentin Hale, but USC, I think, is still the leader there, plays for Cathedral in Los Angeles, so local kid, and one that USC certainly wants to get wrapped up and keep here at home. All right, there's your latest update on the trending recruits, the trending blue chip recruits for USC. Anything else that breaks or if a commitment happens this weekend, I will certainly be back. We're keeping our eyes close on the transfer portal as that continues to progress. We get closer to it officially opening. So I'll have target lists for you almost daily here on the USC LAFB YouTube channel. So please hit that like and subscribe. I said last video we were like 7 away from 7,000. If you guys could get us there, and you guys, amazing. We blew past it. After I released that video, within 30 minutes, we were at like 7,020. So y'all are amazing. The Trojan family is unmatched, unparalleled, the best. I love absolutely doing this and love growing this with all of you. So let's keep this thing rolling and have a lot of fun. And let's hope USC gets back to the promised land like we think they will be. So appreciate you all. I'll be back later. Enjoy your Friday as we head into the weekend. And as always, fight on. Hey, Trojan family, thank you so much for hanging out and watching the USC LAFB show. Before you go, let me tell you quickly about our friends over at Sleeper. Go right now, download the Sleeper app. It's the #1 sports app, not just for season-long fantasy, but they've got live pickers, they've got live stat updates, they've got a chat you can chat with other users, plus the daily pick'em, which is a blast, or daily fantasy, whatever you want to call it. You go and pick 2 to 8 players across any sports. If you're talking USC, go choose J.D. Mayava in his next matchup. Pick more or less passing yards, more or less touchdowns. You stack those, and you can win real money. When you go to make your first deposit, make sure you use our promo code USCLAFB. You're going to get a match deposit up to $100. Put in $100, you get $100 free to play with from Sleeper. Put in $10, they'll match you that $10. So now you're sitting at $20 to play with. But also right now, for any new users, no deposit required. You get $20 free entry. You can stack both. You can get the $20 for free. Go make a deposit. Use USC LAFB. And now you've got a bunch of free money to play with right there on the Sleeper app. Check it out, Trojan family. And when you do, tell them the guys at the USC LAFB sent you.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening. Happy holidays. Want to give your host a gift? Consider subscribing, rating, and reviewing the show this holiday season. It really helps the show grow. From all of us at Believe, have a Merry Christmas, everyone, and a Happy Holiday.